All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about Disney Plus. Now, we haven't spoken about Disney Plus in quite some times because, to be honest with you, it takes a couple of months, few months, for the quarterly earnings call to come out and people to start talking about what's revealed in these earnings calls. Now, recently, we just had a revelation that Disney Plus has lost over 700,000 subscribers amid a price hike as original content bombs out, and Iger attempts to spin this as positive. Now, while I understand that there is a massive loss in subscribers, don't get me wrong, 700,000, that is not a little bit of subscribers in the slightest. That is easily a few $1,000,000, maybe even tens of millions of dollars. However, the issue is that while they did lose 700,000 subscribers, they also gained from the over 100 million subscribers they have left. There's even more than that. Over 100 million subscribers, they gained $2 more at the minimum, which is $300 million plus. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Part Plays. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, here's the thing. Disney Plus, Netflix, and all these subscription services have been increasing their prices at least once a year over the last few years. This is the next price hike that they are doing, and I guarantee you next year in 2026, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be another price hike. And the funny thing is, it really doesn't matter how many subscribers they lose, right? They lost 700,000 subscribers. Chances are a lot of them were free subscribers that came from some sort of package deal, which a lot of people don't even talk about, right? Disney Plus has well over 140 million subscribers worldwide, but the funny thing is a lot of them, probably 50 million of them, if not more, are packaged with something else, right? Something else that you actually wanted to buy versus people that were actually trying to subscribe to Disney Plus as a service. They just ended up getting the service, on the side or whatever the case may be, and they write it out for as long as they have it free, and most people don't end up resubscribing after the free trial period ends. So it says Disney Plus just suffered a major decline, shedding 700,000 subscribers in the first quarter of 2025. The drop follows Disney's recent price hikes, which increased the cost of its ad-supported tier from $7.99 to $9.99, and its ad-free subscription from $13.99 to $15.99. Alongside the price hikes, Disney also began cracking down on password sharing, implementing a paid sharing system that restricts access to a single household unless subscribers pay an additional fee. Now, here's the thing, guys. They are doing the password sharing thing, cracking down on that. They're doing that because it worked for Netflix, right? The moment Netflix announced that they were going to be cracking down on password sharing and a ton of people lost access to Netflix, they saw a massive rise in subscriptions. They didn't see a loss. I'm sorry. They saw a massive rise, right? So they're probably thinking to themselves, if they're Disney, they're thinking, okay, well, if Netflix did it, we can do it too. But ironically, it kind of didn't work out that way. They lost 700,000 subs. But for whatever the reason they lost 700,000 subs, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the remaining hundreds of millions of subscribers, if they are in fact paid subscribers, which, a lot of them aren't, but let's just say the majority of them, 2/3 of them are, right? You got to imagine $2 times 100 million at the minimum. You got all the money in the world to make up that $10 million loss or whatever from the 700,000 subs at the cheapest tier. So it says Disney CEO Bob Iger tried to downplay the loss during an earnings call, stating that the subscriber churn wasn't as bad as expected. He argued that the price hikes were necessary to push Disney Plus toward profitability and framed the drop as a natural part of their strategy. However, with another subscriber decline already anticipated for Q2 of 2025, Iger's comments come across as little more than damage control. Well, here's the thing, right? They are trying to maximize as much money as they can from the people who have become reliant on Disney Plus. It's a very similar strategy that Uber has done, right? Uber, when they first came out, if you guys remember, was the cheapest thing around and readily available, right? That's how they got into the market and completely just destroyed the market, because essentially what happened is that they made themselves the cheapest option, and they also made themselves the most, aside from being affordable, they made themselves the most easiest option in order to get. Like, you could get an Uber very easily. As the app got better and the opportunities got better and more drivers started doing Uber, it only became a matter of time before it became a required service versus then a desired service. So at this point, then Uber decided, okay, well, now we have the market. Now let's start bumping our price a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there, until eventually we reach profitability. And that's exactly what this is. This is the Uber strategy being utilized by Disney and Netflix, where they're going to inch forward little by little and see how far they can go before people end up exiting in mass, and then they'll reverse slightly to whatever the last number was that people allowed them to have, because that's really what this is. They're trying to see how far they can push it, how far they can go until people say enough's enough, we don't want it anymore. So then it says, while Iger attempts to spin the numbers, the real question isn't just about pricing, it's about value. Why should customers pay for a streaming service that isn't delivering must-watch content? Well, I think a lot of streaming services are having that issue. A lot of them are, unfortunately, just at a point where Netflix is dominating them, right? Netflix is dominating them in original content. Netflix is dominating them in licensed content. Netflix is dominating them overall, and it's leaving them, unfortunately, to not have much to go for. Now, Disney has a special case, right? Because Disney has content. They're like the Nintendo of the movie world, right? Where you got to go to Disney if you want a specific kind of content. Otherwise, you're not really going to get that anywhere else. If you want, legacy names, any kind of old school animated films, you got to go to them, unfortunately, in order to get it. So they're treating themselves as such, and they think they can gatekeep that content and then charge for it. And truthfully, it is kind of working. Whether or not it's profitable, obviously it's not, because they're still saying that they're trying to aim towards profitability. So they are still not profitable, which is hilarious, by the way, with over 100 million subscribers, which proves that the majority of them, well, not the majority, 1/3 of them has to be not paying subscribers. Otherwise, how the hell are you not profitable with almost 140 plus million subscribers? That's ridiculous. But at its launch, Disney Plus positioned itself as the home for high quality franchise content. With exclusive Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar projects, it was supposed to be the go-to streaming service for fans of blockbuster entertainment. This has not panned out. Take The Acolyte, for example. Disney Plus hyped it as a major Star Wars release and series. It failed to make an impact. Despite accumulating 2.7 billion minutes of viewership, The Acolyte didn't even break into the top 10 most streamed originals of 2024. It didn't even come close. The lowest ranking show on that list, Netflix's Love is Blind, racked up 7.3 billion minutes, nearly 3 times as much as Disney's second most watched show of the year. Disney's biggest show of the year, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, only garnered 3 billion minutes. That means that even Disney's very best was nothing compared to the bottom of the top tier streaming content in 2024. If Percy Jackson and The Acolyte were Disney Plus's biggest success, that says more about the platform's struggles than its achievement. Well, here's the funny thing about this, right? So these two shows combined are still worse than Love is Blind. Isn't that insane? The two shows, The Acolyte and Percy Jackson and the Olympians, if you combine their viewership, it's still less than what Love is Blind was able to do at the lowest when it came to Netflix's rankings. So at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that Disney Plus, unfortunately, is not going to be able to reach profitability with the current strategy they have. So what they're trying to do is lower the amount of costs, obviously, raise the amount of cost to the consumer, and keep raising it until eventually they either break even or they get to the point where they're actually making some money, and then they'll keep trying to edge forward until eventually people tell them enough is enough. We're not doing this anymore. We're not quite there yet. There are some people unsubscribing, but it's nowhere near what it needs to be. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.